stand. We are back from recess. It is 3:30 on October 24th. Motorola Partners Teams, Sheriff, Rural Fire, EMT, HMPG radio grant decision. All right, so do you guys just want to stay where you're at rather than converging around the table?
Yeah.
All right. So, Wynn, we are here to make a final decision. We met on this last week and decided to table it until today. So, do you guys have anything extra to add?
Well, I've got a list. Where's my buddy Dave? There he is. So, Dave sent me an email, and I didn't get a chance to call anybody today because everything that's gone on. But I guess what we need, and I guess that's what I need from everybody else, is that everybody in agreement to move forward with the process. And I think just by moving forward, we can address some of these other things. Dave, you can feel free to say whatever you need to, but we do have a grant for $148,000 towards this, so that's the only thing that grant can be used for. So otherwise, if we don't move forward with this process and go into the trunking system, we're basically giving $148,000 back. So to Department of Homeland Security, and I think today, was kind of one of those days again. We had lots of things going on, and trying to get a hold of everybody was a tad difficult. And I think that's one of the things that, I know we're gonna have some bugs with this, we're gonna have some issues, but it's gonna give us that opportunity to kind of open up that communication a little better. Dave, do you want to go over that?
Yeah, what, I know you got a federal grant.
Yeah.
And I worked for 5 years for Northrop Grumman and with the IM project, after I retired from being the good guy. As soon as you get a federal grant, you've got audit requirements, you've got documentation requirements and everything. So when I saw in here the payment schedule, and I believe it says that when the equipment's shipped, that's typical of these manufacturers. As soon as the equipment's shipped, you give me 60% of the money. And when what I suggested in here was that no, when the equipment is delivered and meaning your point of staging, and then a Motorola representative and a county representative inventory it, and they both sign off on the inventory, then you give them the 60%. But going into that payment thing, when I looked at that was typical too. I was suggesting that we make some changes to that so that, what is that? It's like 15% on contract signing, 60% on equipment shipping. But they want 25% on contract signing, 60% on contract shipment of the equipment, 5% on installation, 5% on system acceptance, and 5% on final acceptance. And what I was suggesting is 15% on contract signing, 60% of the contract price upon delivery and inventory. Make sure that it's all there, because when you've got a federal grant involved, that was one of the big issues that I fought all the time. And the only way to ever resolve it was you've got this long list of numbers and nomenclature and stuff. I just took that thing and you sit there and you have the Motorola rep usually, and some of it's components that are all integrated, and you just identify what they are. But you go through that so that everything's checked off. You have a signature from Motorola and a signature from the county. That when you get into an audit on a grant, they won't dicker with it. I mean, that's good. So, and then 15% of the contract price on installation, and then 10% of the contract price on system acceptance. And I was suggested that if it's possible, we negotiate for either a 25%, but at least a 15% holdback on each payment. In other words, you write the check for the 60% of the money, you hold back 15%, and all of that then is given to them. All of the holdback is given to them on system acceptance. What you're trying to do is have a way to hold their feet to the fire if things are going slow, or we can't quite get this done, or whatever, okay? They'll be, that money's important to them, so. The other thing is that I heard the conversations out here, talking about tying the console back to the controller. I really need to get Charlie involved and understand how he's connected to that site. There may or may not be a T1.
Lewis and Clark's using this one
Right.
right now.
But what are they connected with? You gotta talk to Charlie to make sure that the equipment that's in there meets, he knows what's required by these consoles. These consoles are very sensitive to problems with the T1. And he should be able to say yea or no, yea or nay. And when I was going through and reading this, I saw the assumptions, kind of drove me nuts. Design assumptions. The big thing that I come across with these projects is the R56 grounding standard. I mean, they talk about it, but it's a book about this thick, and you have to have a lot of training on it. I don't have that training, but I know I constantly ran up against it. I also saw some huge bills for upgrades in order to meet that standard, because they won't warranty the equipment. A lot of times they won't even install it unless the standards. I mean, $5,000, $10,000, that was not uncommon. So having that audit done, figuring out some way of getting the audit done, if you run into serious issues where it's expensive, let's say it's a $30,000 upgrade, you just can't do it, you gotta have an out in the contract, is what I was suggesting. They keep talking about the Broadwater County Ethernet site links must meet bandwidth, latency, jitter, packet, and all that kind of stuff. Well, exactly what they're providing the point-to-point microwave, but what else is in there? Because they're not very specific. So I think it needs some time at the table, and you need somebody like Charlie at the table there that has gone through this multiple times and understands what it is. The other thing that they talked about is they weren't responsible for interference on the microwave. Well, my first question was, is this a licensed microwave? I don't see anything in here for the FCC licensing, so I'm assuming it's unlicensed. Unlicensed microwave can be fraught. Right now, today, nobody else is running anything. But as soon as Montana Internet comes in and starts running something, you can have interference issues. So those are the kinds of things that I was trying to bring to your attention here. Grounding. And then they talk about permits and licenses. But what permits and licenses are they expecting you to have? Sometimes that can be time consuming and take a lot of your staff time to do. I don't know if you need building permits. I don't know what kind of permits are needed. So I was looking for some way to have them identify what they were. And then this list of design assumptions, and then up front, I think on page 1, the bullets, do whatever we can do to reduce those and have them eliminate those bullets, okay, for county as much as we can before you sign the contract. I'm just concerned about things happening after the fact.
Did Gary say he's gonna do that R56 audit?
Yeah, they will, but usually they do that after the contract's signed. And that's what I mean, we should see if we can't get that done ahead of time. Then I didn't see much in the way of documentation here. And you want to have, whatever equipment they install up there, you want to have the documentation right there so the technician shows up, he's got the books. Whatever equipment is installed here, you want to have it up in the room right there for the technician to work on it. Then you want a copy in your library, okay? So two copies of everything. Usually get one hard copy and an electronic copy. Again, on the FCC license part, I'm not quite sure what they're doing on that point-to-point. Then when it's installed, you're going to want to know the channel plan for each circuit that's connected to that. When you come off the microwave, they're going to have DSL circuits, and you'll want to know, you want to see it, you want to plan, you want it in the book, in the documentation. That's what that was going to. And then when they talk about submitting their final invoice, because of the grants, you want them to certify. You want them to send you the invoice, a letter on it says, we certify that the equipment has been properly installed and the test all completed, the documentation delivered. Again, that just goes back to the grant and the audit. Then where are you gonna stage it? I mean, when the equipment's delivered, where's it gonna be? If it's not on the county property, then you also need to think about insurance to cover it during the period of time that it's delivered until it's installed.
Fun. Everybody's clear them out.
Well, I think it's a good idea that he brought up there.
There's one person in the room was clear.
Well, yeah, it
Yeah.
is, yeah. Well, I guess, having those things in mind, I guess, right now, I guess,
I didn't
I'm
bring any.
just, I mean, looking at this as like, is this something we wanna proceed with?
Well, I think you should proceed with it.
And I think we should, I mean, inevitably, we're getting tied up. And when we look at our system the way it is, it's been around this way for a long time. And, you know, it's outdated, and we all know that, we just keep making it work. I think it needs to go forward, I think we just need to, like Dave said, have a conversation with Charlie and probably Gary, I would think, and see if, I don't think it'd be that difficult to have Gary come in. But Gary's familiar with everything in the building because he's one that's installed
Well, you could
it.
place the call to him and say, okay,
Yeah.
how much to do the R-56 audit before we sign a contract?
Yeah. And we'll probably work on that, and then just get a hold of Charlie.
Do a little work session with Charlie and going over, have him review this in some depth, and make sure that you're not missing a component, or that you've got a component you're never gonna use.
Well, and I was hoping maybe I could get a chance to get up there, and I'd like to have him go through this itself and make sure everything is what's supposed to be in there. Not that I don't trust Mark, but,
Mark's a salesman. He
Yeah.
represents the company. He's not working for Motorola now, he's independent, but I've worked with Mark
yeah.
many times.
I just don't want to, and like we talked about, I don't want somebody to come in here and say, oh, we were wrong, we forgot this $50,000 piece of equipment. It doesn't work without it. So, like I say, I just need to know everybody in the room is wanting to go down this direction and go forward from there. And then I think if we can get some things done, like the R-56 audit and everything, then we can come back and say, okay, this is where we're at. We don't have any issues, we do have an issue, we need to get this fixed, we need to get that fixed, or whatever. And then we can make a plan to then accept the proposal or whatever and go from there, I guess. I just need to know everybody wants, that's the avenue people want to go on.
Do we have timelines on the grant and on this contract?
The grant, we've got the award letter, so it just came, we just were awarded it. So in October here, it came really October 4th or 5th. So we don't have, I don't think we have a massive amount of time, but I think we.
Is that a year, do you know, or?
I don't know off the top of my head either. I don't think that anything in the letter specified a time frame on it. But I think as long as we get going in a forward motion, I think it's fine.
Does it have to be paid or spoken for in X amount of time? If you've got a
And if it's tied
plan,
to the fiscal
motion,
year, the question,
huh?
whether or not it's tied to the fiscal year is gonna be really the killer.
Who's the grant from? Who's administering the grant? Who's your contact?
It's an HMPG grant, so Nadine Wadsworth, Montana DES. I don't know if that's the answer you're looking for, but it's one that Mike wrote as part of DES. So Nadine is kind of the go-between.
And that would be the person to direct those questions to.
And that was, it was one of those, because Leo, I think it actually went to the whole Board of Crime Control, didn't it? Did it go there, or? Dutton sits on one of these committees, and they were the ones who went through and reviewed and determined where it was gonna get, and I can't remember. I wanna say it was like a DHS advisory group or something they have that does that, but I have all the paperwork on my desk, I just forgot to grab it, but, it's the same one that, they use
having a working group, then have that working group work with Canton and get the contract reorganized. You got the standard contract in here.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a fight to get changes to it, but
I agree with Dave in every single piece you brought forward. I think they're important to add to the contract, for starters. I do like having the R56 prior to, and we also need the suggestions on the $70,000 that we're missing. A plan,
Yeah.
even if that's tweaked, and maybe that can come from the working group too. Now, there is the possibility of a matching grant for that, and DES is working on that right now, but I don't know the status of that at this point. So, for me, I say yes, we move forward, but I need these answers first before an official
Yeah, and I
signature.
think that's what we do. I just, you know, one of the difficult things here, for me is it's like, you know, with the whole radio project system is, it's, go ask the sheriff. Well, it's not the sheriff's radio, it's public safety radio. And so for me, I need everybody in the same, everybody who's got skin in the game needs to have a seat at the table having that discussion. And, because if I do something that might work for me, it might jam you up, or might jam Mary up on the backside over there. So, if that's what everybody wants me to do, then we'll go down that road and then just, once we get some answers and then meet again and say this is where we're at. So, seem like the consensus. Okay.
Well, the stuff he brought up makes perfect sense. It's basically helping cover your butt, our butt, whatever. But, go forward.
And like you said, my big concern is there's something that we're not seeing, and then we're gonna have a big price tag at the back end of it that we don't expect. And at $293,000, I don't want another big high dollar issue at the back end of it. So, I think we all can agree with that, so.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's what we'll do then, and I'll get ahold of Gary Mail, I don't know if he's in or not since it's hunt season, but I'll try to reach out to him today and see what we got on the R56, and at least get that started and go in some direction there, so.
I'm pretty sure your site's gonna be just fine.
Yeah.
The unknown is gonna be here.
Yeah, they didn't hear? Yeah, who knows, but hopefully he has an idea, he put most of the crap in there, so we'll see what happens there, but. And then when I get some answers, I'll just get back in touch with you, and I'll get ahold of Charlie and see if we can have him come down, maybe bribe him with a donut or something,
Yeah, and if you need me to be a go-to, just
Yeah.
text me, I'll be at your beck and call,
so.
be a go-between for you if you need it.
Well, I appreciate it. Anybody? Concerns?
Sounds like we got the ball rolling.
As long as it's rolling, we'll keep it that way, so.
Keep me updated when you want to be on the agenda again,
Okay.
and,
Well, I think that's, and kind of the way with that grant, taking half of that, kind of changes that whole
right,
payment schedule and in that aspect. This has been sitting around for a while. And I don't remember what it came in and kind of got put on the back burner with everything else going on. Another thing called life got in the way. So we were trying to revisit it, is what we did when the grant came up, so. I know there's some things that we tweak in that aspect of itself, because when he wrote this proposal, we didn't have anything. We had a big zero goose egg for, any money towards it at all, so I think we're quite a bit farther than that now, so. Ed?
Sounds good. Hopefully it'll be better than the radio communication was this morning.
Yeah. It was terrible.
there's a need for this, there's no question about it.
And it's frustrating because, you get, the call to structure fire at Ross Gulch. Again,
Deja vu.
yeah, it's not like you can get there in a quick hurry and then you're getting jammed up, you're obviously trying to get your resources lined up, and so he's got Rayersburg and Winston and Duck Creek, and everybody's talking, and here I am trying to get him on the radio, so I'm bouncing through channels, trying to get him, it's not working, and it was a little frustrating, so,
And I was in that canyon too.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work there.
no, can't
We
hear
did
it.
a bunch of those canyons, the radios do not work in.
Yeah.
And communities,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Have you tried a digital up there by chance?
no, I haven't.
So, well, I guess that's all we have.
all right.
Be good?
Yep.
Outstanding. So, you guys good?
Yep.
Outstanding. You'll leave then.
All right, thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. At least we're moving in the right direction.
Movies for moving.
Exactly,
We're not sitting spinning our wheels.
that's right.
I was in Sandusky in that earlier.
Denver pepperoni.
He might be.
Yeah.
Well, they-
Castle.
Okay,
thank you.
So, we had a fire.
All right, anything else for the good of the order, Franklin?
Nope.
This meeting is recessed until Wednesday
Yeah, I
to
know.
catch up on
I'm
those
gonna get,
tabled, or postponed items. So we are recessed at
What's the
3:30.
time on it, Wednesday? 10 o'clock?
No, we're gonna start about 1:30.
If you've got a line to Leo,
I'll
I
send
would
out an
talk
email.
to Leo first, obviously.
I just need to hear about what works for one of our groups, since we had to reschedule from today.
Tell Charlie.
As soon as I have that.
And he might, he's
schedule
gonna
for
try.
Charlie's
next-
very good speed, he's really busy.
So we'll be in the morning, you know.
No, we have a commitment in the morning.
We kind of talked about it a little bit. We were at the tax board.
Thanks, Ann.
We need to commit.
We talked a little bit about it.
The Board of Health has a training at 10 o'clock
How much you wanna talk to me
Wednesday
about
morning.
this, 'cause
I have an